Says hang out in Arizona. Okay. Yep. Okay. Okay. Thank you. All right. Hello, is anyone there? If anyone is on the line, please say hello. If anyone is on the line, please say hello.
7 people on the line.
Okay, cool. All right, I'll wait one more minute and then we'll get started.
People on the line.
Okay, cool. All right, I'll wait one more minute and then we'll get started. Okay, so welcome to the programming series of webinars. The first one is evaluating your chapter plan. So I am Beth Plant, your programming VP for JCI Michigan this year. So we're excited to present to you these webinars. And just so everyone knows, this webinar and our future series of webinars will be recorded so you can listen to them at a later time. So we're going to get started. So we'll go over today the chapter plan reminders, the purpose of chapter plans, the importance of evaluating your chapter plan, when the upcoming webinars are, the start times and dates and so forth, important dates for trimesters, and feel free as we go through to ask any questions along the way, okay? Okay, so here are some reminders for you all. So the initial chapter plans, as I've said at conference, they are due on Friday, February 22nd. So if you go to our JCI Michigan website in the document library, we have a chapter plan template and tips out there. So I've given you the link to the Google Drive, so you can click on that and it will take you out to those to assist you as you're working through updating and developing your initial chapter plan. So once you have it all ready to go, feel free to submit it early. So you can submit your initial chapter plan through the portal. It's just jcimi.org or .org, sorry, /submissions/. And then once you submit those, we'll review them for the programming team and we'll provide you with feedback. So the earlier you submit them, the earlier you get feedback. So that's exciting. Okay, let me make this a little bit bigger here. Okay, so what is the purpose of the chapter plan and why is it important to evaluate? So, really, if you think of it, your chapter plan is a working document of your goals and your actions for the year. So, it's important that you update your chapter plan as you go throughout the year. And it's really a living document of what is working and what isn't working for that year for your chapter. It's a good way to focus on your most impactful goals for the chapter. And it's important to show your chapter plan to your members. The chapter plan is not just for the board, it's also for your members. So it's what you plan on doing for the year. Um, this is where you determine for your chapter and the community needs and goals and what should be adjusted along the way. If something's working great, maybe you should increase that goal. If something isn't working, then you probably should reevaluate, adjust it, or remove the goal. And then determine your chapter progress towards your goals. And then it's also important to figure out who's responsible for each area. For the community area, that would most likely be your community vice president or director, as an example. So measuring your goals. So some chapters do the timeline for goals. So they'll have, let's say, 5 goals in a specific category, and they'll say, okay, I have goal number 1. We haven't started yet. Goal number 2, we're in progress. We're doing great. Goal number 3, we have that one done. So it's how often you want the frequency of your goals. And but really the best way to measure your goals as far as progress goes is, did you miss that goal? Have you achieved it? Did you exceed it? And you're pretty doing pretty well with that goal. So now that you have the chapter plan and it's in the works, and it's this great document everyone's been excited about working on because you spent hours perfecting it and so forth. So now what do you do with it, right? Where do you go from here? So it's important to track your progress of your goals as you go along the way. So what did you achieve so far? So what's going well? Where is there areas where performance is lacking a little? Is there certain things that just need a little boost? Is there some obstacles in the way to prevent you to reach your goals? And is there changes that you need to make to get you where you need to be? So here's some tips to evaluating your chapter plan. It's important to review the relevant information. So a lot of chapters do surveys for the membership to see what their needs are, what they would like to do for the year, and the community needs, what's important to the community, and where's there a gap that could be filled. So you'd want to look at those surveys. You'd want to meet together as your board to go over the chapter plan and where you're at. And it's also important to meet individually with your chairpersons, your VPs, and directors, and get their input as well, because a chapter chairperson for a project could have just as much input as the board as well. And it's always important to report out where improvements are needed, and to report at your chapter GMM is an idea to consider if you aren't doing that already. And it's good to let them know what you're achieving as far as your goals are, and what changes are needed, or what changes you think as a chapter are good to make internally and as well as externally for community projects and so forth. And to give guidance on moving forward where you're at with the chapter plan and just evaluating it. So now what? So again, as you evaluate, then you figure out what you need to change as far as the goals go in the chapter plan based on programming. So it's a good idea to consider adding new goals. It's always okay to add new goals, and it's okay to remove goals. I think it's important that you are clear and when you're documenting, so years from now, other chapter board members, chapter members know why goals were added or removed or revised, so that you know the reasoning for that. And again, share your changes with your members. The chapter plan is always for your whole membership and not just your board, and then continue to evaluate your plan. So, what are the benefits, you're probably wondering, of evaluating your chapter plan? So, you can determine the programs that you should expand upon and enhance, and then involve your membership in programming. They're excited just as much as you are to be involved and to be activated and to help meet your goals. So if you've met a goal, let's say we're talking about you have 5 goals, you probably have more than that, but as an example, if you're consistently meeting a goal time and time again, then it's probably good to challenge your chapter and increase that goal or change it. If you're at a project and you're consistently recruiting 2 members, why not bump it up to I want to recruit 5 or I want to recruit 6, just to challenge yourself. Because if you continue to exceed your goal, then it seems time to challenge and evolve and try to, meet the next increased goal. When you evaluate your chapter plan, it's good to look at your community partnership. So let's say, as an example, there's a new business in town. The 2 owners are JCH eligible and they open a coffee shop or they open a bookstore. What better way to get them involved in your chapter and get marketing of the chapter and be involved in a good community project than to see if they'll be a sponsor? And if they continue to sponsor you, then that's a really good partnership. They're promoting you usually, and you're promoting them, and that's a good partnership to keep. So you want to keep track of those. Um, your leadership skills. The more you evaluate the chapter plan and see where you are, where you want to be, and how to get there, it improves your performance and your leadership. And then it shows more engagement of your board and your members. So as you evaluate, you're talking, you're having that open discussion on where we should be, what are people's ideas, and getting different perspectives. Um, so the chapter plan focus. So you're looking at your target audience, for example, recruiting members. Let's say your chapter plan says you wanted to recruit X number of members. Your target audience based on the community needs assessment was a specific market of the community. What are your members looking for? Um, it's also important to see, did you implement the programming activities you had planned? So let's say you had, for first trimester, you wanted to do 3 community projects. So did they go, how did they go? Did they go well? Did they not so well? How can you improve? So you always want to be looking to see how you can improve upon your chapter goals. And did you run into, let's say, a financial roadblock when implementing a project? Did you accidentally overspend a little bit, or were you fine as far as spending, but you thought there was other ways? Let's say it rained and it was supposed to be sunny. Did you have a backup venue in place to take, let's say, an Easter egg hunt from outdoors to indoors? How can you improve? Um, and as you set your goals, you want to make sure that you're actually having realistic goals in mind. You really want to think about what your goals are. Are you always consistently going above and beyond those goals? Did you not achieve a goal in a category? Did you try a new project based on the community needs assessment or survey you got back and it worked great? Then keep doing it. But if it didn't work and it didn't meet your expectations, then reevaluate that project, reevaluate the goals of the project to see where you want to be and where you can improve upon. And then the big picture here is that you want to continue to improve on your goals and you want to create impactful projects. So that's really the key, is you keep improving your chapter and keep making those projects be very impactful for the community and so forth. Based on the surveys you've sent out, what is the benefit of the survey? Did you achieve the benefits of the survey? Did you get the results that you were hoping to get? Did you get the outcome you were hoping to get? Um, did we try a new community project? What was the result? What outcome did you want as a chapter? So you just want to make sure that you're evolving and growing. And then the chapter plan 2 is you have a plan for this year, but you also want to have a plan into the future. You want to have a plan 5 to 7 years from now and more to see where you're going. And think of it as a roadmap and continue to evolve. And what's the big picture? Where do you want to be in 5 years? Where do you want to be in 20 years? And then just remember when you're submitting for recognition to think about what's happening and how you can improve as a chapter. And then just remember, consider that for chapter plan submissions each trimester, the chapter plan is important as it's used to qualify your chapter, for example, in chapter of the trimester, and again with awards presented by President Steve at year ends. So the team uses these to advise towards that. So this was just a short webinar this evening. So we do have other webinars by the programming team that are coming up. The next one that we have is on February 20th, so next Wednesday. That one's on civic leadership certification, and that one will be by Amanda, who oversees that area. On February 26th, that one will be on single project entry, so I will be doing that one as well. And then we have a couple webinars in March, Passport and Incentives by Jessica, and Competitions on March 13th by Jerry Bierman. So that one is at 8:30. So we're very excited about those upcoming webinars. And so I will be creating events for those on Facebook and sending those out shortly. And so those are all same time each time at 8:30. And then we have the important dates in here. So the trimester 1 and trimester 2, just a reminder that all submissions are due at 8 p.m. So not 9 p.m. It's due at 8 p.m. And again, February 22nd is the initial chapter plans. So the link is at the beginning of the training on how to submit those. The T1 ends on April 5th. April 12th is when your submissions are due. May 3rd is when the SPs and interviews and competitions would be at Boyne. And then for T2, we have quite a few months before then. August 9th is when T2 ends, and August 16th is when T2 submissions would be due. And then the September 6th is the Battle Creek Conference for competitions and interviews. So, do you have any questions for me? Are there any questions? Okay. If you think of questions later on, feel free to email me at bplant@jcimichigan.org, and I would be happy to answer any questions you have. Okay. So if there are no questions, this concludes our webinar for this evening. So I hope you enjoyed it, and look for our next webinar coming up next Wednesday on CLC. Thank you.